Phillips. He's the president of American Business Systems. As you can see here to the right, that's his mom and dad. Adam, along with his parents, have been sharing their success with literally hundreds of families across the country the last 22 years. So I'm actually going to bring Adam on. If he can maybe turn on his video camera here, it's going to be good to have him here joining me today. Hey, Adam, how are you, sir?
Hey, doing good. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Just as a reminder, if you see that little question box over there on your control panel, anytime during this webinar, if you have any questions at all, just type them in there. We'd be happy to try to get to those. We'll answer as many as we can throughout the webinar. But yeah, I'm excited to talk about the topic today.
Yeah, we kind of batted around about what we wanted to actually call this webinar, and we wanted to say, hey, you know, beginning with live training is one of the ways to what we all kind of wanted to name it today. It's about how to bulletproof your healthcare business, and we know, Adam, it starts with training. And let's talk a little bit about this whole training workshop and what it's all about, and everything that they're going to go through. So I kind of got this question. We're going to just kind of kick this off with you and say, okay, if I'm someone on the webinar today and I'm asking you, Adam, okay, I'm sitting in this class for 5 days, what am I going to learn?
That's a good question. We get that a lot. And, you know, there's a lot of different ways to get training in this industry on, you know, in different ways as far as like, you know, there's a lot of technical training that you can take. A lot of it is online. A lot of it is over the phone. There are some companies that promote phone training as being the end all to getting your education, and we have found that to not be the case. And we hear that time and time again from our licensees that have gone through the live training. They say, you really need to be in this setting because you just are able to absorb so much more in a live setting like this. And we do not allow these classes to be boring. they are packed full of information. And what the training class does is it's a 5-day class. So, you know, are we going to be able to teach you everything there is to learn about medical billing and revenue cycle management in 5 days? No, absolutely not. What we do is we show you very specifically how our products work, how they fit into your business and what you're going to be providing to doctors, and basically how to get doctors interested in working with you. First, we help get them educated on the need for outsourcing because a lot of doctors don't realize what their true costs are in trying to do their billing and some other things in their offices. So yeah, it's a matter of showing you the quickest path to signing up your first client and then continuing to sign up clients, as many clients as you want. That's what the training is all about.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way that in 5 days, and I think we get this asked a lot too, Adam, of us, or am I going to learn every part of medical billing or even coding in this class? And what we're going to show you here is what you need to know about how to do medical billing, and for those that are concerned a little bit about coding, we're going to show you the actual resource that you're able to do that if a doctor does need coding, then it's going to look like you're the expert. You're going to have people on staff basically through the services that we're going to show you today. So as everybody can see here, this is what that Adam was talking about, the revenue cycle management, that it's kind of, this is kind of what we stick with through the week as we're going through it. So we really will hit on every one of these through here. But I thought I'd put this up here, Adam. This is kind of just putting in some bullet points here, some of the things that we will and are going through in training class today.
Yeah, this is kind of a behind the scenes look at what the agenda of the training class is, the live training class. And some of this stuff it can't be covered just, you know, over the phone without actually sitting in front of people and being able to be instructed by a certified instructor like we're going to be talking about. But like I mentioned, we cover every aspect of all of our different services. We do so much more than medical billing, and it's funny because a lot of people, even though they do all this research on our company and all this due diligence, and they take their time making a decision, when they finally come to the class, whatever training class they make it to, they still in their minds just think, well, this is just medical billing, right? No, it's so much more than that because doctors have a lot of other issues that are going on. So we cover all that, and really the main focus, like I mentioned, of the live class is the marketing aspect, because that is number one, the hardest part of this business is getting doctors to sign on the dotted line. And that's what we
Right.
are experts at. Is we've been doing this for 22 years, and we know how to get doctors to sign on the dotted line.
And I think I appreciate you saying this because I know that we all talk about that. The hardest part of the business is not actually doing the medical billing or any of these other things. It's really getting that first client, and that's what we focus on, folks. Is taking these services, and as you can see on the left-hand side, where it talks about intro to marketing and warm market, and that's really why Patrick's not on the webinar today because he's actually teaching that part of it.
Yep.
And so we know the importance, and Patrick knows the importance of it so much that he's there. Again, he's right there in class. I don't know of any other CEO that will actually show up in a training class to help these folks that have just trusted us and helping them get their business going. You've got the guy there in training class trying to help teach this whole part about marketing. And again, I think one of the things that we could probably step back with here, and I'm going to let you kind of talk through this about, whenever people are getting started, Adam, what is their leverage that they can use? And if you want to explain why we teach that when somebody becomes a part of us, that they're part of a big network of medical billers.
Yeah, that's almost every first phone call I have with people that are looking into this business. They say, how am I going to convince a doctor to go with little old me? And that's funny because they always say, how am I going to convince the doctors? I hear that word a lot, convince them. Well, for starters, it's all in how you present yourself. Yes, you're going to tell them, yes, I just opened up an office here locally, but you're going to let them know that, look, I'm a part of this nationwide network of medical revenue managers, and the company as a whole, under the ABS umbrella, processes thousands of claims every day. We can provide references to your doctors, your potential clients. We do software demos like we'll talk about here in a minute for you. So we're doing all kinds of things to build your credibility, and the doctors can see right away that you are not just some little old person working from home by yourself. Even if you're working out of your garage, they're not going to have any idea that you're doing that. They're going to think that you're a legitimate operation because of the materials that we put together. We've spent tons of money on our marketing materials, the website that you get, and all the other things that you get.
Yeah, so folks, you just imagine that part of what you're investing yourself into with American Business Systems is the longevity of American Business Systems, and then all the other medical billing companies that are associated with ABS, that you're going to be able to use that type of a platform to say, like Adam says, I've just opened up a local office that is part of a nationwide large medical group of medical billers. So there's not a specialty that we can't handle, and that's really great whenever we can do those demos, as he said that earlier. One of the things that you're going to learn here, and a lot of people that have been on some of our webinars, Adam, we try to educate people as well on these webinars with information, but this is where, even in the training class that we dive into, the websites like Medical Economics here, where this quote is talking about that more than 84% of physicians surveyed by Medical Economics said that their practice is doing either the same or worse financially than they did a year ago. It's hard for us to fathom that doctors may be facing economic problems.
Yeah, for those of you who are wanting to kind of get some third-party validation, this is a great site, medicaleconomics.com. They have an online magazine as well as a print magazine, I think, but they're always doing different surveys with different groups of doctors and physicians and practitioners, and this is just one number out of many different percentages of surveys that we've seen. But yeah, they're really they're kind of saying, what, based on everything that's happened with the Affordable Care Act and all this other stuff that's been going on in the industry as of late, that's where they came up with this result of this survey. 84% saying that they're about the same or even worse than they were a year ago. And the trend is not looking good for them, for doctors. It's looking good for the third-party medical billing industry.
Right.
Yeah. And that's go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, and these are the things that, as a brand new licensee, that we really stress a whole lot here, especially in the first day or two, of knowing these quotes to use, because again, through the New England Journal of Medicine, their analysis stated that 24 cents out of every dollar wasted in administrative and billing expenses. You couple that with the claims that are rejected already, no wonder the doctors are in economic trouble.
Yeah, and that's the thing is we help the doctors learn about what their real costs are. A lot of them don't know this number. They don't know what they don't know. And so that's why we help them do a practice analysis to kind of figure out, am I spending too much time or too much money trying to manage this in my office? That's what we're trying to get to the bottom of. And 9 times out of 10, it seems like they are. When they're trying to do it in their office, they've got staff they've got to pay, they've got hardware, software costs, all kinds of stuff that they don't factor in when trying to get these bills sent out and collected on.
Let me just pause here real quickly and remind everybody about the question area. You're more than welcome to throw any questions out to Adam or myself on any of these particular topics here, especially on what we're trying to use as a third-party validation on any of this. So if you want to know where the New England Journal of Medicine is, you can just obviously you can Google that, and then you can just put 24 cents out of every dollar or waste it. But this is the material that you're actually getting, because part of what you're going to get here in the training class is actually to learn this information, utilize it. It's either you can get it and download it in a flip chart, and now we've got it electronically where you can actually use an iPad. So if you're talking to a doctor or talking to a group, there maybe in a network marketing discussion, this is the information that you can actually pull from. But it all starts with what we know here. With the billing, with IClaim EMR X, and then the patient portal. And right here, just in this one slide that we're looking at here, takes 4 different things that are normally pieced together with other billing softwares and EMR softwares that are out there that we have all integrated into one system. And I want to say Patrick. I do so many with Patrick. I want to call you Patrick.
But
Adam.
It's okay.
Yeah. Talk about the system, how it works, and just how it works seamlessly.
Well, doctors want to know that if they're going to switch to a new system, they want to know that it's going to be user-friendly, and they want to know that they're going to be able to get results quickly and see those results quickly. And that's exactly what you get with this system. We are one of the very few in the industry that has built all 3 pieces, like you mentioned, of the puzzle under one roof. So we've built the billing platform, the electronic records platform, and the clearinghouse function, which basically, for the layman, it just means that everything works seamlessly and the doctors get paid very, very quickly, and their claim rejection rate is very, very low with this system. So yeah, I think we're going to touch on this, but if any of you guys want to see a demo of this system, we'd be happy to give that to you, give you a demo over GoToMeeting, because it really is great technology, and it works really well.
Yeah, we did get a question in here, and Jashnu, hope I said your name correctly, and they asking if doctors are using the system, how much are they paying monthly as a subscription? Well, that all depends upon the practice analysis, and for everybody to understand that there are costs that go along with utilizing any of these the systems in and of itself, but those are costs that doctors are already incurring anyway. So part of when we talk to you about how to put your proposal together, all of those cost factors will be explained in the training class in much detail. Matter of fact, that's what they're going to be going into tomorrow and even Friday into their training class of what some of the things that we go into there. So hopefully that helps answer some of your questions, but we just don't know. We won't know what the final cost is until that practice analysis is actually done. But one of the things utilized in the system, I think everybody's a little bit afraid about that first day of the training class and actually doing medical billing. We actually give them hands-on training, as you can see here. So what we see right there in the middle, Adam, when your mother actually first started doing medical billing, that piece of paper that we're looking at, she literally had to type all that information in.
Yep, it was what do they call it? 2-part paper, where there's a copy made on the other side, and I vaguely remember that. I was very, very little, but I remember her sending those through a typewriter and actually typing the little X's that you see there and the little numbers. And if anything was, typed in incorrectly, they either she caught it and used whiteout and fixed it, or she didn't catch it and that claim got rejected. So it was very, very, a lot of potential for huge mistakes there, on that part. So,
But now that on that day one here at training, we're actually going to give them a sample of taking one of these and then applying it in there. And then if you do make a mistake, the system catches it for you, and then you can correct it actually while you're going through the actual processing of the claim. It's once you do 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 of these, as we do there, you're going to get a pretty good indication that doing the actual part of medical billing is not that difficult.
Right, and the cool part is if they decide that the doctors want to use our electronic medical record system, it's even easier for licensees because the doctors are actually touching on the different codes that they want to use, and that's getting they're using like an iPad, for example, in the exam room, and that's getting transmitted immediately over to the billing side for the licensee to manage, and so there's even less work for the licensee to do if they're using that.
Exactly. I'm through this one in here, and folks, if you're catching on what we're doing here, we are trying to give you already some information that you yourself can start doing your own due diligence outside of ABS. Here is Black Book Rankings. We even have at the very bottom there their website that you can go to. But we saw earlier there was a percentage that was 87%. And that was with medical economics. Here through Black Book Rankings, now they did a survey of 89% of all physician practices are agreeing their billing and collection systems need upgrading. Adam, didn't you send out an email just this last week of a free EMR system that are actually basically is going under now?
Yeah, there's a lot of crummy software out there. Let's put it that way. And that's actually, I'm really glad that you put this figure up here because a lot of people, one of their initial questions are, don't doctors already have some type of software? And the answer is yes. Every doctor has billing and or electronic medical record software now. That's not the issue. The issue is a lot of doctors were early adopters of some of the electronic medical record systems that came out, several years back, and they're falling apart. They don't meet the requirements for government, incentive money. And so there's a huge percentage of doctors that are looking to switch to new systems. So that's why our licensees are doing so well right now, because there's a lot of need for it.
Yeah, and I don't know if we have it in this slides here during today, but I know out of Black Book Ranking also, they even mentioned that there's a very high percentage that physicians are looking for integrated systems where there is a billing system and an EMR system that is actually integrated. That's great, but we even take it that next step further where what the other part that's integrated, and really what separates us from everything else, is the clearinghouse, and then even on top of that, the patient portal. So, when people are looking at, or doctors are looking for solutions, we've got the solution that they're probably looking for. In the training class, as we mentioned earlier, Patrick is one of the people that actually does the instructing at the training class. And we put him up here first because obviously he's at the training class, but he is, in this particular area, he's actually going through the marketing part of it. Adam, talk a little bit about the history of your dad and where he is and how he learned all the tips and tricks about how to do marketing and how he's applied that skill into utilizing it here with the licensees.
Yeah, licensees are pretty lucky because my dad doesn't have any hobbies. I've told him, Dad, you need to take up fishing or something because you're working so much. But to the licensee's benefit, he is very heavily involved in the live training. You guys see him on these webinars pretty much every week. This business is his life. I mean, he really does want to spend most of his time helping other people succeed like he has done. Like he wasn't born rich. You know, he came from nothing, and he was able to build several different businesses through a lot of trial and error, a lot of hard work, and he's been in sales for, gosh, 50 years. I mean, so if there's a sales book out there, I can almost guarantee you he's read it. He's read every one there is. And so he's got this huge library of sales books that he's read and learned, and he's just willing to share that information with everyone at these classes. And it's just a great thing because people can just pick his brain and just do what he does. You know, if you want to succeed,
Right.
there you go. He's doing it. You know, do what he does.
Yeah, I've known your dad to take calls even from licensees that need some coaching, and they're working with a particular doctor or something, and your dad actually gets on the phone with them. And folks, you know, we can talk sometimes about the cost, the investment here at ABS, and but folks, you know, when you've got someone that's really behind you, that really wants to see you succeed, someone like a Patrick Phillips, and then that flows from everybody else. I mean, the whole team is like that. So we're all here to help you win, and not just buy into a business and put it on a shelf. This is all Adam and I and the rest of the team and Patrick and everybody does. This is all we do is help medical billing. And even taking it a step further, once you mentioned about the instructor that we do bring in and the major role that she plays and the reason why Patrick brings in Cynthia.
Yeah, so what better way to be instructed than by someone who's actually been through the program and is running a successful medical billing business, right? So we actually bring instructors in from different places. One of them being Cynthia Anderson from Arizona. She has gotten to the point where she went through our program back in 2008. She is a certified medical revenue manager. She's been doing this for 8 years now, and she's gotten her business to the point where it basically runs itself. She has people that do this, that run her billing business while she is taking a week out of her time to come and help us with the training class here. So you've got someone who's been there, done that. They're not going to teach you something that they know doesn't work. They're very highly invested in the success of licensees and the business, and they believe in the business, and that's what you want in an instructor. And she keeps it fun. That's the other thing, is she's very high energy, keeps it fun.
Yeah, and then, like I said, all of us, we all get involved in some way or another, whether it's Adam or Jordan, you see him there, or myself teaching or explaining. Folks, we all do somewhat get involved in the training at different times, and again, we're here to help you learn all that you can, because you know you have 5 days, and we want to make sure that you have everything you can get in that 5 days, and so we're investing our time as much as we can to help you in that particular week. Adam, there's a question that's come in. I'm gonna pose this question to you. This is from James. It's pertaining to the software. So before we get too far off the software, I wanted to grab this question here. James asks, how do you keep your software current, and is there a fee to keep it current?
Great question. And that is the beauty of using a completely cloud-based platform like what we have. So not only does it run on any computer, Mac or PC or whatever, but we do all of the updates behind the scenes. So every morning when you log in, you have what we call a dashboard where you can actually get updates on, here's what we changed, here's what's been updated, here's how it works, here's what's coming. It also, we let you know what's coming. And you never have to worry about installing an update or paying for it. It's just done automatically for you for free behind the scenes. So I don't know how you can get much more efficient or user-friendly than that.
Yeah, not being a server-based, you as a licensee, you don't have to worry about updating yourself or calling or costing for that as all that. You don't have to worry about that at all. All right, so now we're going to kind of really get into each of the different services, and we're going to spend the rest of the time. We've got about another 30 minutes here on the webinar that we'll try to do what we can to kind of go through each one of these, because each one of these systems are important. And Adam, we hear this quite often, that we know that IClaim and EMR X, that's the nucleus of everything, but the AutoGuard and the Quick Collect and Choice Pay, AutoGuard, CodeWrite, iDocNow, and Physicians Toolbox, I get asked how often are these other services used? They're used very frequently, if nothing else, to start a discussion with the doctor.
Yeah.
And so you may never use one of these services, but if this is what gets you in the door and you get engaged with the doctor because you have the service to be able to use, that is so powerful.
Yeah, a lot of big door openers that you're looking at right here. One of them is AutoGuard. There's a lot of doctors that they don't really know if Medicare were to come in and do an audit, they don't really know if they're going to get in trouble or not, and that's a big problem
Right.
because if they're doing what's called overcoding, and getting paid more than what they should be getting paid for what they did, whether they're doing it on purpose or not, they could be fined huge amounts of money. So we have a service where they can come in, and I think we're going to talk about this in a minute, but they can come in and what we do is we review all the different charts and things and review the processes that the doctors are making and what they're doing, and make recommendations to change it to make sure that they're doing everything properly, so that if Medicare ever does come in and do an audit, then they're protected. It's not a 100% guarantee against any fines or anything, but it lays out a process for them to follow to make sure that they're dotting their I's and crossing their T's. So that's a big
Right.
kind of good door opener there.
Yeah, and each one of these any of these could be the door opener that gets you involved in talking with the office manager, or you're out and about and you're maybe, again, what we're going to be talking about one of these here in just a little bit about the marketing techniques, and you may be just talking with somebody in general who may not even be a doctor, but you explain to them some of these solutions that you have, and you'd be surprised. They go, I think I might know a doctor that might need that. This is that statistic I was thinking about just a while ago. I knew it was high. I didn't realize it was 87%, but 87% are looking for what's called revenue cycle management. That's just the billing platform and an EMR system that's one single solution. That is an incredible number. So to Adam's point a while ago, Adam made the point, why, you're asking the question, why would a doctor need me? Don't they already have a solution? Don't they already have software? Folks, this is an incredible number for you to just to lock in on. That is well over 3/4 of all the physicians that are out there today. They're looking for some type of better solution than what they currently have.
Yeah, there's a surprising amount of software where you've got one company that made the billing platform and one company that made the EHR platform, and they're trying to get them to talk to each other, and it just doesn't work nearly as well as a seamless system like ours.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we're going to talk just real quickly about each one of these as best we can, just to summarize each a couple of these as a time here. And we're talking about IClaim and EMR X, and we can truly say it's the only billing and EMR system on the market today that has a fully functional clearinghouse and patient portal. This is unique. If those that know anything about sales and marketing, you're always wanting to know what is your differentiator. The two parts down there at the bottom, the clearinghouse and the patient portal, are considerable differentiators there. And I just wanted to go ahead and put this up on the screen here, Adam, so you can kind of talk through this as well, because as you were talking, this is the one solution that can get directly to the insurance companies.
Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of a flow chart here, but Eric mentioned a patient portal. I don't know if some of you may not even really realize what that is. They're fairly new for some of the technology out there, but it allows for the patient to go and they can go online. They can make appointments. They can pay their bill. They can download their entire medical history. They can do prescription refill orders, all kinds of stuff, even telemedicine through that patient portal, which telemedicine is they're doing a video web chat with their doctor instead of going and seeing them face to face. So very high tech. Patients love it, doctors love it, and it's tied directly into the EMR X system, which is tied directly into the IClaim billing system. Now, that being said, you guys don't have to. You can offer you can set up things very creatively depending on what a doctor's needs are. And like we mentioned prior, we're going to figure out what their needs are by helping you do a practice analysis for a doctor first. So maybe they need billing help, maybe they need electronic medical records, maybe they don't need one or the other. Maybe they just need just one, just billing and not EHR. So there's a lot of different ways to structure it. And because these two things are tied together, EMR X and IClaim, doesn't mean they can't be sold separately. So just keep in mind that you can get really creative on what services that you're going to be offering the doctors. You're certainly not ever going to offer them all of these services. It's going to be very specific to each doctor, and we help you with that.
Absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and take a couple more questions here. And Yvette is asking, when is the next 5 classes? Yvette, I'm going to ask you to get with your business coach that's helping you develop whether this is the right business for you. They'll have the next 5 training classes probably available that they can give you those. We know the next one coming up is in March. After that, I can't recall those that well. But you also ask a question, do we have scripts to use on the doctors? That is what you're learning in this training class. And not only just that it's, obviously we all need to kind of have some talking points. That's the better way to look at it. But in that training class, this is the dynamics that you're getting. That if we were all in there, you're going to actually get to practice with someone else in that training course, in that training class, to kind of help perfect what you want to say. So more than just a script, we talk about talking points, and then you take those talking points and develop it to where it fits you the best. That's the best way for you to be able to get ready for those, meeting up with those doctors there. All right, let's move on because, again, we don't want to waste too much time or lose our time here. The next 2, Adam, is probably the biggest, second to the biggest question after that is, how am I going to do medical coding? You want to take it from there and explain these 2 services here? Yeah,
I touched on AutoGuard a little bit, but the service CodeWrite basically is what allows our licensees to go through just a 5-day training class, and they can immediately start promoting their company as a certified medical coding company. Because through this CodeWrite service that we have certified coders that have already gone through 2 years of coding school, and they've been certified in the ICD-9 and the new ICD-10 codes. So when you would use this service is if a doctor needed help with making sure that they're coding for the right, the doctor says, you know what, I have a handful of codes that I use on a regular basis, but I do want to make sure that I'm not over coding. I want to make sure that I'm using the right ones. So in that case, we could utilize this CodeWrite service. You could tell the doctor, yeah, absolutely, we can do that for you. So that service is available to you guys as licensees of our company. And then the AutoGuard service I mentioned is for kind of like for the doctors that are kind of doing their own coding without the CodeWrite service, but they want to make sure that they're doing everything correctly. We can go in and do a one and done where we analyze, I think it's like 50 different patient charts, and we see every step that the doctor has taken for those different charts, those different patients that they've seen, and making sure that they've done everything properly. And then we make recommendations on, well, you should do this, 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 and this next time. And then it helps them to, be protected if Medicare ever were to come in and do an audit. So, yeah.
Yeah, these are important parts. And then, Tony, I'm going to answer your question now because you're kind of asking the question about these services. Each of these services are potential revenue streams. The answer to that is yes. Each one of these is a revenue stream for you. So we certainly, not only are they just good, again, like we mentioned earlier, just good door openers for discussions, but they are and can be. You can make money on the service of AutoGuard, and a good chunk of money right there at the beginning. CodeWrite is something that's ongoing. So I know specifically that someone who uses CodeWrite every month because one of their doctors does surgical claims, and that those surgical notes actually get to CodeWrite and then turn back into the licensee so that they can actually do the processing of the claim. So these are being used quite frequently, and both as, like we said, just maybe some discussion points, and they're actually being used as revenue streams too as well. Uh, I think, again, if I can remember correctly, Adam, the question does come up sometimes. Whenever I get into medical billing, am I going to be a collection agency? You want to talk about that with these two services?
Yeah, a lot of people want to know that they're not having to chase down money that patients owe the doctors that wasn't covered by insurance. A lot of doctors want to just write that stuff off. They don't want to mess with it. They don't want to be aggressive. Some doctors do. Some doctors have a large amount of, you know, money that's owed to them that wasn't covered by insurance. It's owed by the patients, and so if they do want to go after those past due accounts, we have a quick collect service where we do all the hard work for you. So basically, you turn the accounts over to us. We do the letter writing, the phone calling, whatever the case may be, and you get to make money on that service without having to do any of the dirty work, if you will. But that's completely optional. If a doctor doesn't want to do that, they don't have to. It's just a completely optional service. But that's one more revenue stream. Same goes for the choice pay service. That's more on the front end, where if a patient owes a lot of money that's not covered by insurance, the choice pay program allows them to pay that off in smaller monthly payments, so they can use a credit card or bank account or whatever the case may be, and pay off that whatever they owe in small increments. That's what that choice pay service is all about. So.
Yeah, these are superb services, and again, each of these services that Adam is discussing here, and we're both kind of going back and forth on. Imagine that you're sitting in the training class this week, and each of these services are going over, line by line, basically, and how to take these services and use them as part of your marketing. Again, that's what Patrick's kind of kicking off today. He's kind of doing the overall review of, just get ready. We're going to go through each one of these services and how to use these services, actually how to get your first doctor. One of them may be without even having to do one bit of coding, one medical claim of anything. What about just selling the service of iDocs Now? This is just an online document management system that is completely 100% HIPAA compliant. But Adam, we know here that doctors have to keep records for at least 7 years, and we've all been in those doctors' offices where there's just stacks and stacks of paper.
Yep. Everybody's been to a doctor where you've seen filing cabinet after filing cabinet after filing cabinet. So we have a service, iDocs Now, that allows them to scan and archive those documents in the cloud online. And it's a fully secure, HIPAA compliant, cloud-based system. It's separate from the EMR X system. It's its own. This service is more for, like you said, like the historical records that they're not patients that they're seeing on a regular basis. It's old stuff, typically. But that it's very easy to mark the documents and do searching on the documents if they need to go back and search for anything. So this is a real handy service for, a lot of doctors have used this. They've gotten rid of their filing cabinets. They've opened up a new office, and they're able to bring in more patients, which means more revenue. So this could be a big deal for some doctors.
Yeah, a huge deal, and especially with some of the newer services that we've got, is freeing up some real estate could actually help the doctor because of some of the newer services that we may have coming on here through the next year. That the doctor could either, like Adam said, see new patients or add new services for that doctor for some ancillary services that that doctor can even make more money. So, folks, space is money, time is money, and if we can convert some of that back into the doctor's pocket, that's what we're trying to do. Now, we're going to get into talking about a little bit of the marketing, because everything that we've been showing you so far, each of those services has its own flyer to go along with it. But more importantly, than just the flyers themselves, Adam, talk a little bit about the thought of how the branding is. We can kind of see how the branding is. And you, along with Jason, you guys have put a lot of work and teamwork on keeping things branded as they are, including the flyers, the postcards, and the websites and everything going along with that. Just speak a little bit about that real quickly.
Sure. Yeah, we've spent a lot of money developing the marketing materials and things that you'll be using to promote your business. Spent a lot of time consulting with graphical guys on developing what's going to grab attention. What's going to get attention when it gets to the doctor's office. And that's another thing that we do in our training is we actually show you how to get information into the hands of doctors because they do have gatekeepers. They do have people in the front office that's designed. They're taught to put this kind of stuff in file 13, if you will, the trash. So we have ways of kind of getting around. I don't know if you were at the training, Eric, the training on Monday. We had a lady who was talking to us about gatekeepers, and she actually referred to them as window witches.
Oh my. That's a new one. That's good.
So we can show you how to get around the window witches. But yeah, you can see that you're utilizing our branded service names like IClaim, and then we have one that's just based on revenue cycle management. But that's where your logo would go there, and the same goes for the large flyers that we have as well. The website that we give you, you'll also have your name and logo and everything on there as well. And wouldn't it be nice if you could have something to send out those cards automatically without having to put stamps on them and write that?
Yeah, I think that's called AutoGuard.
Yeah. That's funny that we have a service for that. So I don't think that's one that we talked about. Do you have a slide for that one?
I don't, but I could certainly go back up to this one right up here. Just give me 2 seconds, and I'll get to there. I'll kind of pinpoint it out right here. I think we've got it right there, right in the middle. AutoGuard.
Yeah. So basically, we have got a web-based tool that you can utilize, licensees can utilize, and we have all of our marketing materials, our postcards that we've created. For all these different services, we have a campaign already created for you in this AutoGuard system. And so what it does is it will actually automatically send out a postcard in the mail, the real U.S. postal mail. It stamps it, it puts the address on there, it does everything for you automatically. All you do is put in the name and address one time. And then you can specify the frequency, when they get the cards, every couple of weeks, every couple of months, whatever you want to do. But that is an amazing tool for doctors that you've spoken with or office managers that you've spoken with, and you want to remain top of mind. It's very important to remain top of mind for when they are ready to make a decision, because they're not always ready to sign immediately. You have to nurture them sometimes, and that's been really helpful.
Yeah, that's one of the key secrets that Patrick does talk about being at the top of the mind, and one of the ways to do it is through these cards that we've got there. One quick question that before we move off some of these topics here, George is asking, can these other services be marketed to businesses other than medical practices? The one that can be done like that is iDocs Now. You want to explain that one real quickly, Adam?
Can these other services be marketed to business other? Yes. So that was George's question.
Yes.
Yeah, so we do have a couple of services that can be marketed to businesses outside of medical. iDocs Now is it's a scanning and archival system for paper documents. So it works for any company that has tons of paper that they want to digitize and get in the modern age. So it works really well for government agencies, schools, colleges. There's tons of different industries that iDocs Now works well for. Same goes for the Quick Collect service. They're not specifically doing business for medical only. We'll do collections for any type of industry there. So yeah, we do have a couple of services that work outside of the medical field. Good question.
Great. All right, we're going to pop on, keep going a little bit further. We're going to get into now of how to properly do business networking. I think, first of all, the first thought that most people come by is that they're thinking about multi-level marketing. Folks, this is not multi-level marketing. This is true business networking. I'll explain this real quickly, and then Adam can pop in here. My oldest son is a branch manager of a bank, and he goes to weekly business network meetings every week to build his banking clientele. And that's what we're teaching you. Imagine that you're going to a business networking meeting and you meet someone like my son who's the branch manager, senior branch manager of a bank, and you stand up and you're able and you're communicating, you're talking back and forth of what you're doing. You can say that I know that every 24 cents out of every dollar gets lost in administrative things there for the doctor, but I'm here to help collect more than that for the doctor. All of a sudden you've got my son that stands up and says, I got 3 doctors that bank with me that could use your help. That's the power of business networking.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's all about building strategic partnerships, and that's, I mean, networking is, it's probably the #1 method that we hear about from licensees as far as how they got business.
Yes.
A lot of them get business from traditional networking, like early morning breakfasts or luncheons or things on the evenings or weekends. We have had licensees say that they were networking on the golf course and got business that way as well. But yeah, most of these events, you're not going to these events looking for doctors at these events. You're going to build relationships with people who can potentially refer you to doctors. That's what you want, is a warm referral. Yeah.
And folks, you gotta think of this. Think wide and think big here. That I think I do that without even thinking about it a lot of times, because I'm always asking someone whenever I meet someone new and I'm kind of getting to know them. I usually ask the question, so what do you do? What kind of work do you do? And they get to listen to them, and then inevitably, what are they going to ask? They're going to ask me, well, what do I do? And I tell them, and I'm telling you, I've had so many people go, I think I might know a doctor that you ought to send someone there to help. So, folks, it's just knowing how to speak the language and speak the terminology. That's what these folks here at this week at training class is actually learning. However, if you may be a little shy about doing some of that, Adam and I are going to talk to you real quickly about how we're going to teach you how to find, hire, and train sales reps if you need them.
Yeah, I've had some conversations with some people recently who were pretty interested in this opportunity, but we're pretty hesitant just because they didn't really consider themselves good salespeople.
Right.
And I'm telling you, you do not have to be a salesperson by any means to go out and do this business, because of the methods that we teach you are very much, we're gonna show it in a minute. You're just consulting with doctors, and you're saying, look, let me ask you some questions about how you're doing things currently, and then let's see if maybe there's some things that we can help out with. But that being said, if you go through the training and you decide, you know what, I want to build my business faster, this is a great way to do it. So we actually have a full program for hiring and training sales reps and showing you how to find the right people to go out and do that for you. And here's some of the advantage of it. They like I said, you're ramping your business up that much quicker. If you're just doing the marketing by yourself in the beginning, takes an average of about 30 to 60 days to get your first contract. That's what we're seeing right now. But if you bring on sales reps, obviously it's going to happen even quicker than that typically if you've got more people out there marketing. The other thing is if you've got another 9-to-5 business job or a job that you have to keep working, the sales rep thing helps you jump right into the marketing while you're running your business and getting your new business set up and all that other stuff, as well as we are not a franchise. If we didn't mention that in the beginning, this is not a franchise, so you're not restricted in where you do business. You can have a sales rep in every state in America marketing this business for you. There's no limit.
There you go. So, folks, you can hire sales reps if you want to grow your business outside of your location where you are. However, we can't say that there are advantages without some disadvantages, and the disadvantages are not that big of a deal. But you will give up a little bit of your revenue to pay them a commission, because you're not going to pay them a salary. You're just going to pay them a commission on what they bring in. So you might judge that out and think, you know what, I'll give a little bit just to get that first client. You may feel like you might have a little less control over your presentation of your services, but that, again, can be minute. But the last disadvantage is that you might find out that you need to hire more people because you have more business. So what a bad disadvantage to have is that you end up having more business. We've got some folks that actually use sales reps, and they have told their sales reps to stop and slow down just simply because there's too much business that's actually come in.
Yeah.
Here's as we kind of make a transition here and looking at the clock, we've got about 5 more minutes here. We've got a few more slides to get through, Adam. But again, we want to keep putting this stuff up here just to help remind us why we are doing this. Folks, 42% of all physician practice hope to outsource their billing in the next 12 months. That's nearly half of the doctors in your area. Adam, a lot of people ask me, and I know that they ask the rest of us here at ABS, what is the percentage of doctors that are actually looking to outsource their billing? Well, here it is, 42%. Just throw rocks somewhere, and you're going to find a doctor that's probably looking to do that.
Yep, they're finding out more and more that it just makes more sense for somebody outside the office. I mean, even the doctors that are looking for new software to use, they want to use new software, but they want to have someone outside the office doing the billing part because they just want to use a new, more up-to-date electronic medical records for their day-to-day encounters with patients.
Adam mentioned earlier about consultative marketing. So basically, folks, you're not selling anything to the doctor. And this is where we're going to kind of get into the little bit of what this is the sort of the secret sauce, so to say, of helping you once you've gotten through that that gatekeeper there, whoever that might be, that scary person behind the glass. Once you finally got past that, and you've got the doctor, and they're sitting there going, "Now, what can you do for me?" We're going to take you through very strategically of going through what's called a practice analysis questionnaire. And this is where really the rubber meets the road. This is why a doctor will maybe ditch their old system and even completely do things differently. Like, I mean, they won't fire their staff, but people that were actually doing this in their office, they'll reallocate them to something else because of what you discover through the practice analysis questionnaire. It's questions about, you know, are they using a server-based versus a web-based? How many claims are you doing? And, you know, how much are you currently spending on billing? You'll be surprised how much doctors are spending on billing currently. And once you pull all of that information together, Adam, so talk real quickly about the practice revenue report, and then what we see here when we can pull it out if someone is actually doing medical billing in the house. This is a question that gets asked frequently. Don't they have their own billers, and why would they switch from using their own billers to someone like me?
Yeah, so what you're seeing here is some actual data that we've received from licensees doing a practice analysis. Excuse me. So what we have is what we call a practice analysis. What do they call it? A tool.
The practice revenue report. The
practice revenue report tool. It's basically a real fancy spreadsheet. Okay, but we've got all of this stuff where you can just put the numbers in, put the answers in that the doctors give you, and you can print out this report that actually shows kind of a side-by-side, and you can take it back to the doctor or the office manager. You can say, look, based on what you told me, here's what we're looking at. Your in-house cost here, you've got a full-time biller that you're paying $46,800 a year. Your payroll taxes are $3,300, workers' comp, blah, 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 all the way down. All of that stuff equals about $65,000 a year is what it's costing you to do your billing in-house. If you were to outsource the billing to me, Dr. Smith, you wipe out all of those fees because you don't have any of that stuff. And you're paying me a percentage of the billing, which equals about $33,600 a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's basically what one doctor will bring in, anywhere from $30,000 to $35,000 a year. It's right there, right in the middle. We've talked about that, I know, many times about that. So, folks, just don't be afraid if you run across a doctor who's doing their in-house billing. They got an in-house biller. To me, that would be the doctors that you need to be going after, because they are losing a lot of money right there.
Yep.
Real quickly, here's another picture of it there, the practice revenue report. Some of you can see that. These are the numbers that are actually flowing through there, and you can see the percentage increase. But Adam, as we kind of wrap this up here on the proposal, talk a little bit about how we're going to teach them how to actually present the proposal in the training class.
Well, it's just a matter of helping you put it all together from start to finish, and then part of our recommended, client acquisition cycle, if you will, is to schedule the software demo with the doctors, and then at the end of the demo, you'll have all of this prepared that you just saw on that previous slide, all of that prepared to hand to them at the end of the demo, ready to go. So we've helped you put your pricing, your proposal together, your agreements, everything is ready to go in that presentation folder. And then we actually do the demo for you. So you're setting up the live demos with our demo team, and we walk them through the entire billing and EHR platform. We answer all their technical questions, and then at the end of that demo is when we hand it back to you to give them the presentation folder.
And we're still keeping up with our percentage that for every 2 demos that we're doing, we're helping a licensee close at least one of those. So folks, as you're thinking about this, you can see that there is a system. It's beyond just having a medical billing platform and EMR system. Everything that Adam and I have shown you today is why we call ourselves American Business Systems, because it's a system of training, support, the proposal, the pricing, with all the systems and the services that come along with that. That's why it's more than just billing, and that Adam said it perfectly. Folks come in with one expectation of what they're going to learn there in the training week, and by the time that they get through with the training class on a Friday, they go, "This is bigger than what I expected."
Yep, we hear that every time.
Every single time.
Yep.
Every single time. And we hope that you would come in and again do that as well. As we wrap up here, I think we made it right up to the top of the hour, Adam. I'll let you take this, and then we'll kind of wrap it up on the next slide with the next training dates that are coming up.
Yeah, this is an offer that my dad came up with several years ago. He just decided, you know what, we believe so much in the quality of our live training that we might as well just offer people a money-back guarantee, because very, very few people are going to take us up on it when they see the entire program. And that's true. I mean, I think we've given just a handful of refunds in the past several years. And those were people that just decided, you know what, it just is not for me. It's just, for whatever reason. So that's fine. You can go through the entire training workshop, and for any reason, if you just don't feel like it's a good fit, then we'll give you your money back. And that's in writing in our agreement. So, what have you got to lose?
Yep, don't have anything to lose, maybe except for a little bit of time away from home if you want to do that. But folks, as we talk about this, obviously we could not get you into the February class, but we do have one coming up here in March. It's March 21st through the 25th. It is a 5-day course, and we'd love to talk to you more about it. Feel free to give us a call here at 866-565-8413. Adam, as we kind of put a wrap to this, I'm going to tell you, first of all, thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedule to hop on the webinar in place of your dad. And man, this was a great one. It's just good to refresh all of us a little bit about all the different services that we actually can provide.
Yeah, my pleasure for being on here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Folks, again, give us a call here if you have any further questions. There are some questions there. Let me see. I think we can got a couple of minutes for those that want to hang on. Alethea, you asked the question, what type and level of costs are we talking about for doctors to switch from their current systems to ABS? Again, that kind of goes back to the practice analysis. Depending upon what you discover from that practice analysis will actually depend upon the cost, if anything, of switching that doctor from one system into ours. And I think the last, here's one from Irene. Irene asked, is there any extra charge to licensees to use the coders? There is a cost to use the coders, but remember, the doctor's paying for that. You're making an override on that. So again, that's where your income stream can come in from that. And then lastly, Jacqueline, you asked, do we provide leads? We don't provide leads, but you could go to our website, and there's a place there underneath the income potential where you can look up by your zip code potential doctors that are actually in your particular area. We can maybe show that on a future webinar here soon. But I wanted to try to wrap up with those few questions there that we had left there, Adam. Again, thank you for taking your time. Again, folks, thank you for taking your time. We look forward to hopefully meeting you, if not seeing you on the next webinar for next week. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks so much.